Hello, everybody. Are you a commitment phobe? Well, stay tuned. I'm going to share with you 9 signs. I am so grateful to be greeting you today. So grateful. My name is Suzette. I'm a life coach and relationship solutionist who helps women break cycles and attract great love into their lives. How do I do it? By amplifying 3 critical factors. They are 3 critical factors of enoughness: your voice, your value, and your vision. By doing that, I help you to have a better experience in life and in love on your own terms. Oh my goodness, that's the only terms that matter, right? Not other people's definitions, but it's your terms that matter. Hi, Marva. Thank you for joining me live. I'm looking at Facebook here and Instagram here, and as normal, every Tuesday, I host REALationship TALK Tuesdays with Suzette, where I share with you what I wish someone had told me before I thought I was grown enough, savvy enough, whatever enough to know better. And so each week I stream live from Facebook and Instagram to kind of share some nuggets with you that I wish someone had shared with me. Today, we're talking about commitment phobia. How many of you have ever dated somebody that had commitment issues? Right? That's one of the main things I hear women talk about. Doesn't matter whether they're in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, or 60s. Everybody seems to have some story or some interaction with somebody who did not want to commit. They didn't want to put a ring on it. They didn't even want to give it a title. It's like, well, what are we doing here? You know, what am I to you? Am I your woman? Am I your girlfriend? You know, what place of prominence, if any, do I have in this thing that we're calling whatever? Are we calling this a relationship? Or what is this? Right? And then you get this kind of deer in the headlight look. Y'all know that look where you start talking relationship and all of a sudden the blood goes out of his face. And now he's kind of stuttering. Right? I see some love. So I must be talking to the right people. So I went online and I there was this article on Psych Central. And I put some little notes here. Yes, I have to have notes, y'all. I'm over 60. Listen, my brain is doing really, really well. But when you have 9 signs, you need some notes, right? So here are some signs. Now, commitment phobia. I do want to say this before I go into the signs, because a lot of times we give people labels that they haven't been diagnosed for. So this is more like a behavior that we're talking about and some symptoms that a person might be, right? But there's a difference in people who are not ready to commit and those who have a legitimate phobia. You know, a phobia to me is like, I don't like snakes. I have a phobia of snakes. If I would have woke up on a snake, some things would happen. My stomach would go in knots. My heart rate would go up. I hope and pray to God I wouldn't have a heart attack. But if I woke up on a snake, honey, and I see him slithering, it's just something about that slithering that drives me insane. I have to back up and go a different way. That's one of the reasons why sometimes when I go on these natural walking, you're going in these natural greenways and stuff, or certain parks that are very natural, I'm very careful because I don't even want to. If I hear the bushes rustle, I'll jump. So that is a phobia. You put a snake near me, literally, some things can happen, right? So that is a sincere phobia. And some people actually have a commitment phobia. And I want to make this distinction because sometimes we'll say, well, he just doesn't want to commit because of this. But some people actually have a phobia because they have been traumatized in a very significant way, right? And so for them, they need some extra help. And it might be a phobia that they may not overcome, right? So everybody is not a commitment phobe. Let's make sure we got that straight first. Everybody who doesn't want to commit to you is not a commitment phobe. Can we be clear about that? It might be that you're not their cup of tea. It might be they just want the sex. It might be that they've gotten to a certain age and a certain experience in life where they do not want to commit to marriage. They do not want to commit in that way. That does not make them a commitment phobe. It just may mean they have lived their way to the understanding, been there, done that. No, I'm not trying to have a serious relationship. I'm not trying to get married right now in my life. And I think if we would believe them when they tell us that, many of us would not be hurt today. That sometimes we have been the reasons why we've gotten hurt because it wasn't that person didn't tell us. And I don't want to make it gender specific. Of course, I hear from women because I'm a life coach and relationship solutionist. I hear it a lot from women because women over 40 that are high achievers, that's my main client. That's my main clientele. So in my providing them coaching services and so forth, I hear it from their point of view. But I also run into women who themselves have commitment phobias. The guy might really like them a lot. He might think a lot of them. He might want something from them. Some things might be going on where he wants to put a ring on it, wants her to commit, wants her to say yes. And she's like, no. I went through a trauma and I can't commit. I had a real bad experience in my marriage. I had a real bad experience in my younger days in my life. I had a real bad experience. And the same way I feel about snakes, that person feels about making that next step. Right? So I wanted to give you that first. Now let's look at the signs. Now that I kind of brought some context to this thing, let's look at the signs. Hi, Mamie Lee. Thank you for joining me. Thank you so much. Okay, so one of the signs, they may be unable to talk about the future of your relationship or get really anxious when the topic arises. That's one sign. Has anybody had that? Where you're going along just fine. And then when you say the R word, relationship, or the M word, marriage, it's like literally that person looks stunned. Or literally that person gets upset and you're wondering, well, what did I say? What did I do? Or they might get into, look, I wait a minute. Hold on. Now, I'm going to put another caveat here, ladies. And a couple of gents, if y'all are listening. Listen, sometimes we push commitment too soon. We come in with an agenda that we have not lived our way to asking for or requiring yet out of another person. Let me let that settle with you. Because just because you might be in a rush to get married, just because you might have that as your agenda, does not mean after a week or two, or after a month, or after 3 months, that other person is ready to go that extra distance. Maybe they haven't had enough interaction with you yet. Maybe they're slow, like a slow cooker. Or maybe they're like, you know what? I don't even know you. We haven't even had our first argument yet. Honestly, I dated a man that after 3 months, he told me he was in love with me. Now, this was not my husband, Robert. No. This was before Robert, okay? BR, before Robert. And I was dating this guy. We got along kind of okay. You know, I've lived my way out of that relationship to the point that I realized that what I was tolerating with him was not really good. So back then, before I knew better, I thought we were getting along just fine. Okay, I'll say that. And after about, I would say it wasn't even 3 months. I say after about a month of us dating. Hi, Barbara. Thank you for joining. She's an OG relator. Yes, indeed, in the house. But after about a month, he told me he was in love with me. Now, the old me would have been like, oh God, I'm doing something right. Oh my God, he must see something in me. Oh my God. But live a little while, right? And I said to him, well, he said, because you're a great woman. You're this, you're that, and the third. And I said, yeah, I am. I am a great woman. I am a lovely woman. I am all the things that you say. I said, but we've only been dating a month. We haven't even had our first big argument yet. We haven't even had a major difference of opinion yet. Right now, this is just kind of like gravy. This is just gravy here. We've only been dating for 1 month. Seeing each other once on the weekend. So that means we've gone out 4 times and have phone calls in between. But you are in love with me after a month. And my thing was, I didn't even know if what he was quote unquote in love with was what I valued about me. Right? So, okay, want to put that out there. So sometimes we're pushing it too fast because we have our agenda and we haven't even given this thing a chance for us to even know whether we really like him. He might be a good date, but we don't even know whether we like him yet. Anyway, I digress. Back to the signs. Sign number 2. They may talk about the future, but leave you out of it. Woo, right? Anybody heard him talk about the future and jump the shark? Because he was talking about it, you assumed that you were included. But when you think about it, he never talked about you being a part of it. Woo, okay. Sign number 3. Your conversations together stay on the casual side. Even after months of dating. Right? Sign number 4. You may feel like it's hard to foster intimacy in your relationship. Right? You may find it, and let me tell you this, ladies, and I'm sure those of you that are listening to me know it to be true. Just because a person wants to have sex with you does not mean they want an intimate relationship with you. We're talking about emotional intimacy. We're talking about exclusivity. We're talking about introduce you to my mama, introduce you to my kids. We're talking about the future. And you're in it. We're talking about that kind of intimacy where you can share those deep things that person is willing to reveal things to you that maybe they've never revealed to anybody else. If they're still playing it pretty close to the chest and kind of like get away closer or closer than get away, or as soon as sex is over, oh my, look at the time. No cuddling, no deep conversations, no real sharing, no real wanting to linger, just wanting to hang out, eat pizza, and use your remote control. All right. Okay. Number 5. I just kind of alluded to it. They may push you away or get busy, right? Let me get back to, okay. For a few days after an emotionally intimate situation. Okay. I was about to lose my place, y'all. I told y'all I'm over 60. I done told y'all. So don't y'all. Hey, let me try this again. Number 5, they may push you away or get busy for a few days after an emotionally intimate situation or an event that may have brought you two closer together. Okay. So let's say that there was an intense sharing of some kind that was emotional. Maybe you shared something emotional with that person. Maybe they shared something emotional with you and then they got scared. Have you ever shared something that you felt like was premature and you got scared because you thought maybe you shared too much? You felt too exposed, right? That may happen in the beginning, but after you've dated a while, if that person still feels like, they're uncomfortable when you ask them how they really feel, when you saying something's bothering you, no, something else is going on, and they push. They don't want you probing. They don't want you to get close. They got a barrier up, right? Commitment Phobe. Number 6. And I've got my computer here. I want to make sure that I have, let me see here. Now here we go. Number 6. Number 6. They might avoid discussing future plans, even casual ones. Like they might not even want to commit to another date. Let's say y'all met, y'all been hanging, not met, y'all been hanging out for a while, right? And you might say, well, hey, so-and-so is happening. There's a concert or something coming up. And I thought this might be something fun for us to do. And they're kind of like, let me check. And this I'm rubbing my neck. Let me check and see if I'll be able to work that in, because I don't know, something. Let me check my calendar. Let me check. Have y'all ever been through that? Even after a while, when you've been casual for a while, yeah, you've been hanging out a while, yeah, but this person doesn't even want to commit to a next step. They don't even want to commit to going to get a hot dog at the corner, at the Snoopy's up the street. It's almost like there's nothing. They don't want to talk anything future, even if it's a casual talk. I've had that happen to me in the past before, but I didn't know what that meant. Somebody's getting it. Yeah, might be a commitment Phobe. Okay, number 7. They may dislike labels. Why we got to put a label on it? Why? We don't need a piece of paper. Has anybody ever heard that one? We don't need a piece of paper. Why? Or they introduce you. Now you've been with them for a while, but they introduce you kind of clumsily. When y'all are out together, they're kind of clumsy. about how they introduce you. And you're looking at them like, why are you having problems telling people I'm your girlfriend? Why are you having problems telling them that we have a connection? Why are you having difficulty? Why are you stammering over the words? Right? Anybody ever been through that? Ooh, honey, over these years, I've been through a lot of these and just didn't know it was commitment phobia or potentially that. Number 8, attempts at emotional vulnerability may be met with defensiveness, coldness, or agitation. Now, I'm going to say this. I experienced that in my marriage. Not in this one, but in my previous one. And it might seem like because the person put a ring on it, hi Proctor, thank you for joining me. It may seem like because that person put a ring on it, that they were committed. But I can say my first 2 marriages, my husband was a commitment phobe. He would not let me in. It's like he had this guardedness and he would not let me in. He would not be emotionally vulnerable. Now, he would get emotional at times and he would pretend to be choked up. But I thought it was vulnerability, but it wasn't, because he would not allow me to access him emotionally. I could not penetrate his veneer. Things that would normally evoke empathy out of most folks went right over his head. Hi, Cora, thanks for joining me. Went right over his head. It was like I was talking to somebody that just could not get it. No matter how much I might have cried, no matter how much I might have tried to explain, no matter how much I would have told him how much I needed and wanted, it was like it was met with this cold veneer. Right? Commitment phobe. And number 9, their past relationships may have been short and, according to them, unimportant. They may have also experienced a traumatic relationship in the past. So what's the moral of this, Suzette? If you got to beg and plead with somebody to commit to you, then if they're having difficulties doing it, your staying with them longer is not going to make them change their mind. And for many of us women, that has been what has happened for us. We thought, oh, gee, maybe it's just because of this. Maybe it's just because of that. You know what? I'm going to be that good woman to him to the point that hey, I'm going to show him how much I can love him, how much I can support him, how much I can be there for him, what a wonderful woman I am. Hi, thank you for joining me, Instagram. You have a very interesting name, so I'm not even going to try to say it because I know I'm going to mess it up. But thank you for joining me. But, you know, we try to talk ourselves into thinking that the longer we hang in here with somebody, the longer we're patient with them, the longer we show them what a good woman we are, the longer we do it, that's going to convince them that we're a keeper, we're the woman they've been looking for, and they're going to commit. And how many of you have found out that the longer you stayed, instead of it getting better, it got worse? Or the longer you stayed, that person had you on their terms, but not on your own. And that's why I tell people so much that love, great love, does not require that you betray yourself, right? And the only love worth having is love on your terms. Hi, sisters in service. Thank you for joining. It's not saying love on your terms from a egocentric way. I'm going to have love on my terms. So he got to be 6'4", right? Those are my terms. I don't mean superficial terms, because he can be 6'4" and you be miserable, right? So let's keep it real. Those are preferences. Those are things that you find attractive. But don't get it twisted. Your terms go deeper than that. And for so many of us women, we spend so much time trying to have love on his terms that we have forgotten and erased ourselves completely out of the equation. And that's why I keep having my love on your terms masterclass. That's why I invite women, high achieving women specifically, who are over 40 to that masterclass. Because for many of us in growing up as women, we never were told we had terms. Or if somebody says standards, we didn't know what standards were. We thought standards were, we don't want him to be inch high private eye. We thought standards were, we want him to have a full head of hair. Right? We thought standards were, we want him to have a job. And so that was what we led with. That was what we looked for. But these very things that we talked about in commitment phobia, being emotionally vulnerable and accessible, somebody that you can talk to, share with, commune with, communicate with. We weren't taught that. But those are terms that for many of us, we haven't been taught. So instead of us standing our ground or not giving ourselves to men that can't allow us to be who we are and love us for it, we're running after men who can never give us the love that we deserve. And so in my Love on Your Terms Masterclass, which is coming up November, by the way, it's an encore because the first one was just so compelling and so wonderful. I decided to do it again. And because of the holidays, y'all, the holidays are coming up and everybody's holidays are not wonderful. For a lot of my single girlfriends and women that I talk to as part of my coaching services, the holidays can be a very lonely time. Even for some of you women who are married, the holidays are a lonely time. Because your husband, if you marry somebody who doesn't believe in giving gifts, then it can be lonely. Or if you're looking at romantic comedies or romantic movies, which, you know, on Hallmark Channel, on Lifetime, the Christmas movies are all very romantic. It can remind you of what you wish you were getting in your own relationship. So it can be a very lonely time, the holidays. And so I wanted to offer the high achieving women, I wanted to offer them something to let them know, listen, you don't have to tolerate things. You don't have to just be quiet and tolerate. You don't have to. You can have love on your terms. And for some of you, you're married to absolutely fantastic men. But because you've been traumatized in the past, you're afraid to tell them the truth. You're afraid that if you tell them what you need, that if you tell them something that they're doing that's bothering you, if you tell them that, they're going to get upset and they're going to retaliate. They're going to make you feel small. They're going to make you feel guilty. You're afraid because you don't know that your man has the bandwidth to listen to you and that he really does care for you. So love on your terms is not just for single women. As a matter of fact, the September one that I had, married women, single women, women over 40, women younger than 40, all registered for the masterclass because they realized that they needed to rediscover what made them enough in their relationships so they could speak from their hearts, so they could really show up and be seen, so they could stop pretending and tolerating, right? And their worthiness to have great love on their terms. If I'm speaking to you, register. Go to SuzetteSolutions.com. The enrollment for that masterclass is open. And people have already begun to register. They've already begun to register. And what it's going to be a week-long masterclass. And straight out the gate, day one, we're going to be deep diving into what I hear. Every time something does not go right in relationships, what is it that we say, ladies? Was it me? Or is it me? Is it me? Is it me? Am I the reason why I keep drawing commitment phobes? Is it me? Am I the reason why he doesn't want to put a ring on it? Am I the reason why I'm by myself? Why nobody's showing an interest in me? Is it me? Am I at fault? And even if you might not say it, you think it. It goes through your mind. Wouldn't you like to know? Wouldn't you like to answer that question once and for all? Wouldn't you like to know? Wouldn't you like to dive deep enough into who you are to be able to answer that question authentically and not need somebody to have to tell you? Not need somebody to have to validate you? Not need somebody to have to absolve you? Right? That's what love on your terms is about. It's not about it's not about tips and tricks and techniques. I don't deal in that. Because I know great relationships require more. As a matter of fact, tips and tricks and techniques, that's manipulation. I don't teach that. I don't preach that. I don't coach that. So if that's what you're looking for, there are plenty of people out there that will do that. I'm interested in your joy and in your fulfillment. I'm interested in you no longer settling or allowing people to talk you into accepting less than what you deserve. That's what I'm talking about. I'm trying to help you so that you don't have your first, second, third, and fourth divorce. Because nobody told you the things that I'm telling you now that I wish somebody had told me. And so we're going to have a week-long time together where we're going to talk about the very struggles that I hear about the most. And we're going to talk about those things. So if it's resonating with you, go to SuzetteSolutions.com. In my haste today, I didn't put it in the description because I was so busy trying to talk with somebody right up to 12:30. So I apologize to you all for me getting up here a little later than I normally do. But I wanted to really let you know what Love on Your Terms Masterclass is really about. It's about you becoming your best self. It's about you getting down to your own terms so that you stop accepting things that are going to invariably cause you pain, cause you to suffer, cause an ending to a relationship that should not have begun in the first place. Things that my mama didn't know and my daddy didn't tell me. Things that I had to figure out and did not figure it out till I turned 50. It took me till I was 50 years old to really connect the dots so that I could end the cycle of failed relationships and attract real deal love into my life. And what I'm teaching you is not a fluke. I'm the evidence, and the ladies that I coach, the ladies that I share with, we're the evidence that the insights, the resources, the tools that I share, they really do work. They really do. And for some of you, because you have so many layers on you from the trauma that you've had, many of you have become commitment phobes. Because when a man looks at you, you're afraid. If you're afraid of love, you're a commitment phobe, because you can't even make a commitment of the heart. Your heart is not available because you've been traumatized. So it's not just men. Those signs that I was saying can be you as well. One of the things that I learned is that relationships hold up a mirror. The healthier you are, the healthier your relationships are. So if you're constantly attracting toxicity into your life, then you have to know it ain't just them. Something is not right inside of you. Something is not connecting in the right way. Some things that you believe may not be true, and they're tripping you up. Your belief system, some ideologies that you were raised on, what mama and them taught you. Something's wrong here. There's a disconnect between what you say you want and what you attract. Right? And then the stories we make up about our relationships, our experiences, the stories we make up. You might be being held hostage by your story. And so in my Love on Your Terms Masterclass, my efforts are to help you to get clear, to get the clarity that you need so that you can show up fully and not be a commitment phobe, that you have the confidence that you need, not confidence to go back out here and get the same thing you keep getting, but the confidence that comes from having the insight that you didn't have before. Confidence that comes from having wisdom. Not just knowledge, ladies. A lot of us have read a whole lot of relationship books, have gone to a lot of relationship seminars, but we're still attracting the same thing because in getting knowledge, knowledge is not power until you have wisdom with it, until you know how to practically apply it. And so that's my effort, to help you to practically apply it, and then to understand men better so that you can recognize men who are open, men who are available, men who really can love you as you. Your terms are you. And so my efforts are to help you to find you. Not the defensive you. Not the scared you. Not that you. That's just defense mechanisms. That's just layers of hurt. But the real you underneath that desires true love and real companionship. That you. That's the you that I'm trying to uncover. That's the you that's a great love attractor. But that's also the you that you're afraid of. That's the you that you've been taught is a problem. That's the you that you're afraid of to let somebody see. And so what I am doing, endeavoring to do, is what I wish I had had. Oh my God. But you know what? I understand now more than ever why I had to go through what I went through, and why I had to follow the path out of my stuck, out of my cycle, out of my destructive patterns, so that I could help you, so that I could come exactly where you are, zero in exactly where you are. I can come there, and I can come and help you to find your way out. So listen, you don't have to. You don't have to be a prisoner that you're holding back, that you're the warden, keeping your own soul imprisoned. You don't have to. And love does not have to be something that you fear. Love is wonderful. What I thought was love, it wasn't love. It was just pain. I was in pain. I was wounded. And so I kept attracting that. That was what I sent out into the world. And that's what I kept attracting. But oh, the more that I recovered pieces of myself, pieces of my dignity, pieces of my self-respect, my love quotient went up. And the more I started loving myself and finding those areas about me that I could love and respect, oh my goodness, and learn how to recognize men who weren't just playing, but who really loved me and liked what they saw and were attracted to me as me. It changed my experience, ladies. The only way to get out of the cycle is to get out of the cycle. And it takes effort, and it takes determination, and it takes moving in the right direction. You know, one of the things they say when people are swimming at the beach and they find themselves stuck in a whirlpool is not to try to swim against the whirlpool. Not to try to swim in the whirlpool. They say the only way for you to get out of a whirlpool is to swim across it. That's the only way to get out. So if all you know is the cycle and you're trying to figure out things in the cycle, you're never going to learn to get out of the cycle in the cycle. You have to learn how to swim across it. And so with my Love on Your Terms Masterclass, I'm teaching you how to swim across it. So that whether you decide to get married or not, whether you decide whatever, it's not because you're afraid. It's not because you're a commitment phobe. It's because you're free to make the decisions that you make from that freedom. But it's not because you're scared. It's not because you're intimidated. How many of you want to live a life where you're free, where you're empowered? That was me. I no longer cared whether I got married or not. My thing was I wanted to know what real love felt like. I felt like I owed that to myself. I owed it to myself to no longer be intimidated by love. I owed it to myself that I was not going to go out like that. I was not going to have spent all my life wishing for, hoping for, praying for companionship, someone to love me for me. But me to go out like that not knowing it? I didn't want to get to the end of my life and regret not knowing what real love felt like. That there was somebody out there that could love me as me. And I wasn't courageous enough. I ran away from it instead of running toward it. That I cheated myself of that when I could have had it. That I gave myself sexy, sometimes even spiritual sounding excuses. Jesus is my husband. Oh, come on. I don't even think Jesus really, it's like, okay, don't use me to justify your fear. Don't use me. Don't use God as a reason to justify you being scared. I see some love going up because a lot of people in Christendom are using the Bible and using Jesus and using God to punk out on themselves. They're using it to justify their laziness. They're using it as a plausible reason that sounds really good for not being courageous. A plausible reason that makes them sound deep. But last time I heard, faith has evidence. Faith without works is dead. So don't tell me you believe in God to send you your Boaz and you just gonna sit and cross your legs? Not prepare yourself? And I mean more than buying a wedding dress and putting it in a special place. I mean preparing your heart. Getting over your commitment phobias. Healing your heart. Getting over your hang-ups. Getting over your issues. Showing an interest in men. Getting to know them on their terms instead of trying to make them bend to yours. Right? That's what I mean by love on your terms. Your terms have to be broader than your ego. Your terms have to be broader than your pain. Your terms have to be broader than our arrogance. Your terms have to be broader. They have to be in love. If love is not underwriting your terms, then you're not after the terms that I'm talking about in my masterclass. These terms are empowered terms, not putting somebody down to have your terms. It's just being aware of your terms, how you want to be treated, how you want to be loved, your worthiness. And this is what I found. The more loving you become, the more you love yourself, the more loving you become. People that love themselves don't have chips on their shoulder. People who love themselves don't have to put men down to exalt themselves. When you really love yourself, you don't have to put people down. So when I talk about love on your terms, I'm talking about those kind of terms where you're empowered and you're loving and you're kind. That's what I'm talking about. So if that's what you're looking for, then I encourage you to sign up. I encourage you to sign up. Well, I know I've gone over my time. I promised myself after last week I was not going to go over my time. But you know what? I am my daddy's daughter and God knows he could talk. But anyway, I just wanted you all to know. And for those of you that joined late, listen to the replay. And again, I am Suzette Vernon, your life coach and relationship solutionist, right? Who is all about amplifying your voice, your value, and your vision so that you can have real deal love on your terms by redefining what makes you enough. So join me next week where we'll be doing it all again at my Relationship Talk Tuesdays. So take care now. See you later. Bye.